Everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, but I'll be using cards today. I've had a few questions about see if I can see what Trump said during his deposition with Letitia James. What came through? What did he reveal, basically? So anyway, let me swap out cameras here and bring you over my table and see what comes through. Hold on. Okay, so I decided to use Libby's deck. It's Meister Tarot. I'll put a link. You get it on Etsy, but I'll put a link in the description area if you're interested in the deck. It's pretty cool. I love her artwork, and there's 89 cards in the deck, so this should cover it. And I am just honing in on what he said and what effect it will have on him based on what, information he gave out to Letitia James, or to her attorneys. I don't even know if it was, if it would be her interviewing or if it would be her attorneys. Anyway, yeah. It's coming up, the actual jury trial comes up in, I forget if it's September, October. I think it's October. And so I'll read on that separately, the outcome of that once it starts, going. Right now everything's just still pretty much in flux, but because he was deposed, she's accusing him of fraud, of course, for overvaluing his assets by billions of dollars, but I guess the lawsuit's only $250 million. Because it would only be, of course, narrowed down to the state of New York. But yeah, so apparently he answered questions, and he might have done that. From what I could glean, I read one article on, it's on New York Times, yeah, where they were talking about when it comes to a criminal trial, the jury can't hold a defendant. They can't hold their Fifth Amendment right, their silence against them, if I remember correctly. But in civil trials, and this one's civil, they're allowed to, take that in when they make their decision as to whether or not the person refused to answer any questions, right? So there's that. Because, of course, they might think that he's hiding. We all know he hides and he lies and obfuscates, and it's just, yeah. So anyway, I'm thinking, though, the reason he spoke up is because he thought it would look even worse if he didn't. But the cool thing is Letitia James can use whatever Trump says, now, or did say, I'm sorry, whatever has been said. It totally use that, or give that over and share those that information with Alvin Bragg, right? And any other lawsuit that's in any it could go to any of the other prosecutors, I guess. Yeah. So ooh, there we go. Okay, here's our first card. I guess it's time to just do the cards, otherwise that wouldn't have flipped out probably. Okay, so what he said, I've got this here so that I don't go too far. I could move it up just a little bit, but I tend to waste too much time with lining things up, so this will help. Okay, so let's see. What did he say? Actually, maybe I should go closer together. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Now things should go more quickly. Yeah. And then maybe we'll see how this affects him as well. I could always reshuffle and use a different system if need be. Okay, so, well, what he has said, I'm thinking he's saying that he's free to spend his money however he wants, and he has buildings, tall buildings all over, all over the world. He's the guy with all the money. I think he's trying to say that he really is $1 billion company. Well, yeah. Okay, so I would agree, only if he would say that he is happy to magically launder money for for the world. That's the only reason he's had his businesses, right? I mean, if you don't believe me, read Craig Unger's books. There's American Compromise, and then there's House of Trump, House of Putin. There are so many pictures in those books. Oh, wait, hold on. Here. This is the one. And right in the center of this book, there we go, Mark Zuckerberg, right? With a dude from Russia, Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev gets a t-shirt from Mark Zuckerberg. This is in 2012. So anyway, but the book is right in the center of it is just chock full of photographs of, Trump's cronies and friends and how long they've been together and the whole family. And American Compromise, though, goes more into how they hooked him, how they snared him in. So anyway, back to what he said. So right in the heart here, this is what he said. He communicated that, I think he tried to communicate that he's free, that he has no restriction, because he thinks he's the one that rules everything. I mean, he's been doing this forever, right? That's why they even assigned a, what is it? It's not a master controller. It was a different name. A monitor. That's what it was. I keep saying the wrong thing with that. It's a monitor that, that they appointed to oversee the way he disclosed his business documents, like his financial statements. So, and his kids are in on this. I mean, what does Lena call them? The demon spawn. They've all been in on it. And of course, this is the reason that Weisselberg went to prison, went to Rikers for 5 months. And we know he flipped. I've already read that. I've already gotten that. He flipped terribly in order to only get that 5 months. And he's out in a couple of weeks. So, okay, so anyway, back to what he said, because that's the focus of this reading. He communicated that he's the one that's free to spend the money however he wants, and that he has buildings all over the world, tall buildings even, and that he's the ruler of his own organization, and he doesn't need any restrictions. I don't know how he would have said that. This is interesting, because to have the abundance card, so he definitely held fast to the statement that he's a multi-billion-dollar company. I think that it's been more of like his pride. I'm getting with this card here, with these two cards together actually. That's been his pride. And that he's the one that makes the magic is what I'm hearing here. I don't know exactly what his words were, but I'm sure that he tried to defend the fact, well, not the fact, he tried to make it a fact that he's the one that makes all the money. But the truth is he's the one that launders the money that came from the dark, came from the backs of people, human trafficking, drugs, the money they make off of escort services and prostitution, things that's not legal, and probably selling children. That's the truth, but that's not what he said, of course. These cards are what he said. He tried to communicate that he's definitely the wealthy man. He didn't like having restrictions around anybody ruling how he could spend his money. He was afraid. He was afraid, and he was afeared. Lori over at The Way of Positive Change says he's afeared. He was afeared about maybe he really is. Oh, that's what this line is here. Oh yeah, he's afraid that he's going to be busted for money laundering. So he really didn't say everything that he could have. Well, of course not. But that's the deep, dark secret underneath that he's been doing, for years and years and years, and well, since the 80s. Probably, yeah. If I remember right, it was about, it all started with a deal. They baited him with a deal for getting TVs in one of his hotels from a Russian oligarch, and it all began from there. That was the beginning of the relationship. But anyway, what he did say was he was trying to hide the fact that he launders money, but he also tried to say that he's the one that made all the money, which is a big lie. He was happy to act like he was somehow in charge. There's so much of the hidden message about money laundering under here. But of course he didn't say that. Of course he hid that because he had to change the message up. But he did act like he was happy to speak. But he was in darkness when he did, in darkness and in blindness. And I think he was on one level overvaluing, and on another level giving them more than he realized with that abundance card there. But again, here's the money laundering. It happens, change it from fruit into money or whatever. You know what I mean? Money in, money out. That's all here. Money laundering from overseas issues, right? Wealth, again, he did say his wealth was more valuable than it is. He lied about that. Right here, you can see with the restriction card. I get the feeling this symbology here, forget about restriction, and I feel like this is tall buildings. And the reason I say that is because, he's always owned, well, his brand has been Trump Towers and all over the world, and the plane's headed up, and when I look at this visually, I see a Trump Tower. So he's communicating that the Trump brand is something that rules the world. And he gave away some secrets without knowing it. And on another level, he's trying to say, well, here, let me really tell you the truth about, the Trump organization, right? All that's here. But he gave them enough to rule in some way in the future. It's going to affect him. It's going to take away from him. And maybe with this ruler, coward, chicken, You know, on one level, this might visually just be his stupid hairdo, and it does, and it would show that maybe he did go into some fear, and that's why he gave away some secrets. That's interesting. He had to go back into the past when he was communicating. This is interesting. And, you know, I mean, this is supposed to just be about New York, but he told some secrets. See how these cards knight together here and here? He gave away some secrets about things in the past. And, you know, the tall building, the Trump Towers, Trump Org. Okay, so he gave away secrets as to how the business operates. And he revealed himself as being, you know, Mr. Hoity-toity with all the money. He revealed that that's how he magically thinks about himself. That, you know, the man that has rebuilt New York City, and everybody in New York loves him. Well, when he was going in, the people were out in the street chanting, "We hate you. We hate Trump." Ah. Maybe that's what these cards are here. He had to come in through some really dark energy, but you know, he like attracts like, right? Under the law of affinity. He had a lot of dark energy coming into New York City and around him when he went in there. Interesting. Yeah, so you know, could draw some more cards or layer some more over it. Let's just do that. I'll layer and I'll just keep going just for shits and giggles, because we know that he loves to talk and he loves to just keep it going and be the big man. He'll talk until he's just saying, you know, until the oatmeal's falling out of his brain, basically. So let's see, what else did he go with? More than 21 cards. Here we go. Okay. So he's full. He gave away he's full of something. Not full, actually. He gave them what they needed. Oh, and he flipped on his own family. He flipped on his kids. He implicated his children. Oh my God. Wow. Look at that. Because this would be the card for the 3 kids. Or, you know, adult spawn, I should say. Wow. Totally gave it away. And so he divided his own family, flipped on his kids. Let's see, small. He was a little bit, would go through some little fits of anger here and there. Yeah, when he'd get all caught up. Angry about having to come out and do the work of being deposed. Angry about the loss that's going to come down about it, because they have the goods. They have the documents. They have the... Well, you know, I mean, on one level, bank and insurance fraud is one thing, but then I would think it'd be more like the IRS that would come down on him. Because, you know, the bank fraud, insurance fraud's another whole thing, but bank fraud would involve inflating your assets and then trying to get a loan with a lower interest rate. Might be what this is about, the lower interest rate. That would cheat people out, people in New York out of you know, money that could come in the bank and then be loaned out to other people, right? It wouldn't strengthen the financial institutions, the banking institutions in New York. So he came out he revealed his goals, and he revealed how much he grew, and off the backs of other people. And maybe it comes out. Yeah, he grew. He was able to. The divided, I feel like, so he was able to grow because of the bank loans, and that's in the documents. But I think the divided, the division sign, is that half the time he'd be pissed off about maybe the, Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka had come in before him and given some information. Right, because notice how these cards line up here. Angry, he's angry about something that the family, so this will be the kids, gave already, that was revealed already. And they already had this information that could, hit him right where it hurts. Right, because we've got the family and the loss, the hard work that's already been done. Something about the family unlocks and illuminates the past, right? And I think without meaning to, he gave them a big green light and yes to how intertwined the family was, because why else would the family card come through here and the help and the, yeah. I think at first he was caught by surprise. I bet you anything his kids lied to him. Let's keep going. Maybe evil energy, struck down, shocked. Yeah, literally struck down, but shocked. In the swamp, it's his destiny. Yeah, things are going to be transformed for him, and he'll be sad. Yeah, the poverty has to come in at some point. So, you know what? I said I wasn't going to keep going about this, but I'm getting that he's going to lose. But who knows where he'll be by the time that happens, right? Destruction, breakdown, convoluted confusion, big stop to his assets. And here we are with the money laundering again. Empty, yeah. He might not be able to do that so much in the future, right? Again with the family, huge thing for the family. His leadership is coming from fear. His future is stopped. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've used almost every single, deck here, or cards here. Well, I still have quite a few left, but I don't feel like going anymore. So the evil energy that he is just, whether this happened in the courtroom or in the deposition with the attorneys, or this is the future, it's looking to me like, look at how these cards were all stuck together. Like these right here were all in line together. This is amazing. This is the card of poverty. So his evil intentions of the past are suddenly, this is what I've been getting for a long time, that he's just going to fall really hard someday. Everything's, you pull all these little, spikes out of a wheel, and after a while it just doesn't, it collapses in on itself. I feel like that's what this is here, like the swamp just falling apart, and then it stops and there's no more assets. He's sad. This is, the transformational journey he needs to go on. He's had to, he's set it up in this lifetime to either heal his, darkness or not. Look what we have here. Sad and evil energy. Poverty over his security, his assets. Justice will stop him. Right? end of all this confusing, convoluted energy. A big breakdown right in the center here that causes the transformation, and the big breakdown where it's shocking to him, takes him down. He's empty, and he's left in fear. Yeah, he might think he's a leader of his family, but nah, not really. They all flipped on him already, I'm sure of that. Because that's what they will do. They will just save their own, you know what, they have to. So, okay, well, this is interesting. I think I used the best deck I could to get the answers for this particular situation, but I didn't mean to go far into the future, and it turns out we did. So we'll see. Maybe I'll use this deck again when it comes to the jury trial once it starts. And that, I would think it would be public at that point. And then again, maybe not. I mean, Alvin Bragg's hasn't been, has it? Yeah. So, okay. Well, for now, I'm just going to get this uploaded. Thanks, you guys. Take good care. Bye.